Hi Wildings, welcome back for another Wilding Tarot video today. I did have a little bit of extra time today to squeeze in a YouTube reading between privates. So hence why you didn't see my normal time lapse of me setting up our ritual space. I really just didn't think I was going to be able to fit a YouTube video in today. But yeah, I managed to squeeze it in. And I felt kind of the little call to film today, so here we are. So today's video is going to be about the connection from your crush's side, especially if you're kind of in a newer relationship. If you're drawn to this reading and you're not necessarily in a newer relationship, if maybe it's been going on for a bit longer, or it's some sort of kind of separation energy where you're kind of feeling like it's a bit of a new slate, there'll definitely be messages for you here. As long as you're kind of feeling that newness, that's kind of the main energy. The physical form of that, I think, will differ for different people depending on your situation, but we'll get messages for everyone. I'm just remembering if there's a more dominant kind of energy in the reading to just adjust your messages with your own intuition, which you guys are all super capable of doing. I don't think I need to really do any disclaimers today. You guys know to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, adjust where you feel guided. We will kind of do three main things in today's reading. First, we'll get some energy clarification using our little jar of magic. So we'll just get a few characteristics of the people in each pile that are being read for. So you want to have at least about half of those resonate to know that you're in the right place, because we will try and get descriptors for everyone who arrives at that reading who's supposed to stay. If it's more like half, like maybe come back and check if you weren't drawn to a second reading, because potentially half your messages might be split between two decks. And if you jump in and like basically all of them are really resonating of the energy descriptors, then you'll know you're in the right place. And then after we do our little clarification, we'll do the majority of the reading using our astrology and tarot decks, and then finish off with just a couple of oracles just to kind of like close out the reading. I will also finish with an affirmation, as I usually do. I find that it's just nice to be able to leave a reading being able to take something away with you. So I think that's all that I need to let you know today, so we can basically get straight into our reading. We've got 3 piles for you to choose from today. If you need a little bit of quiet time to select one, I will leave a little freeze frame for you to just like have a little moment of peace before you head to a pile, either pile 1, 2, or 3. And I'll put our opening credits after that little freeze frame, because obviously I won't be able to put it in the normal place that I usually put it, based on us not having that little opening credits, like little time lapse of creating our little ritual space today. So yeah, wherever you're being drawn, either pile 1, 2, or 3, heading to the timestamp below to go to your reading, and wherever you end up, I'll see you there in a moment. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful moss agate crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But just, yeah, check in with your intuition and discernment for all of the messages and adjusting what feels necessary. So we're going to start with some energy clarification. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And you're looking for about half of these to resonate to make sure you're in the right place. If it's closer to half, like maybe just double check another pile, make sure your messages aren't split between 2 readings. But if you're resonating with like 80 to 90% of these, then you definitely know you're in the right place. But let's find out who is pile 1's crush that we're getting a reading for. or this like new beginning energy. Clear more about this new beginning energy, please, for pile 1. This person may have a lanky build, black hair. They may be fairly serious, conscientious. They may be fairly critical. This can be some Virgo energy as well. And usually these people are more critical of themselves than anyone else. Okay, they may have darker skin. Be overall fairly friendly. Thin eyebrows. Maybe short. I can't remember if we've already had tall. I feel like lanky kind of implies tall, so they might be skinny and short, or that short might just be for some people here. Big eyes, or your attention is immediately drawn to the eyes. Round eyes. May have good leadership energy, so I'm sensing like a fair bit of earth sign energy. Cupid's bow, so they have a really prominent like dip in the top lip, and their eyes may be grey or greyish blue. Okay, if that's resonating, or at least most of those are resonating, then you know you're in the right place. But we'll start with our astrology deck. Spirit, can you please let us know how this connection is going from pile 1's crush's perspective? Okay, so I'm sensing a lot of earth and air energy, probably on this person's end, but maybe just in your connection there's a fair bit of earth and air energy. We have some Capricorn, Taurus, Aquarius, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces energies. Pisces and Sagittarius coming out is super interesting because they're both associated with a lot of spirituality and spiritual practice, personal development. Pisces is more kind of like woo-woo spiritual, or working on like deep traumas, whereas Sagittarius is more like kind of personal development in a bit of a kind of lighter sense. So yeah, this person may be kind of in this place where they're really working on themselves. I'm kind of getting that maybe the connection isn't the top priority, like their own personal development and healing probably is. So they're probably like in therapy and just like working out some stuff. They're really kind of like coming home to their personal truth and like working on who they are in the world, making sure that they've got a career that's really aligned with what's kind of right and authentic for them. And then they're also probably starting to like increase their intuition, inner knowing, and like really being able to guide and lead themselves, it seems. I think maybe something that they might be concerned about with this connection is maybe just like making sure that the communication's really open. They potentially have been in connections where that hasn't been the case, where things haven't been necessarily clear, or they've not felt safe to bring their truth to a person without it being like judged or manipulated or something like that. So yeah, they're kind of really working on making sure that they've kind of got their shit together, and then just like they're really looking for green flags when it comes to open communication and just like a real ability to be their true self in a connection. There may have been some stifling of that in past connections, I would say, especially with this Aquarius and Saturn energy. Like these two energies, they love to have kind of freedom and yeah, really allowing your own unique inner genius to shine through, especially this Aquarius energy. So yeah, they're definitely looking for that space where they can really be themselves. And I think they're equally kind of looking for that in a person and also looking for that within themselves. So they're kind of like, I'm getting like they're in a kind of bit of a seesaw at the moment, like trying to balance looking for green flags in other people, but then also becoming a match for the green flags, like vibrationally within themselves. Like if they're not allowing themselves to be themselves, if they're not showing up for themselves, like I think they know that they're not going to be in a partnership where that's going to happen, essentially. So yeah, they're really looking for something that makes them feel seen and heard, and also probably has a bit of a spiritual or personal development aspect to it. So they're really looking for someone who can use probably skills from therapy, especially if they're in therapy, to like communicate on deeper levels, and help each other grow, help each other kind of especially unpack any blocks to unconditional love. So any unnecessary conditioning and expectations. Obviously that's not violating any boundaries of any kind, but just like getting rid of any social constructs that stop them from being able to love someone like super deeply and fully. Yeah, it seems like they're interested in having a partnership where that can be just like a big theme of the connection. Is there anything else? No, I don't think so. This person might like the finer things in life and like really aesthetic things. I think I'm kind of sensing that they find you very aesthetically pleasing. They may also like within themselves, maybe something they're working on is being a little bit less stubborn and controlling. This Taurus energy, sometimes this I have energy can be a little bit stubborn and controlling. So I'd say that's something that they're working on in terms of like letting go of their own limiting beliefs. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that you intrigue them as well. This Gemini energy definitely kind of gives a vibe of I'm intrigued. But yeah, I'm also getting like, because we've got Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter as like the dominant, like basically we've got outer planets as the dominant placements here. I'm getting that they're going to move really, really slow, especially because like Taurus is known to move slow, even though it is ruled by a faster moving planet. It's ruled by Venus. Kind of the only really, really fast energy is this Mercury energy, and I think this is more referring to like they're just like going through a lot in their mind and just like working through a lot of stuff really quickly, maybe more on a personal level. So it's not necessarily hitting the connection yet. Like this slow moving energy is really hitting the connection. So yeah, I think this one will be a slow burn. Kind of take your time with this, let it kind of simmer, don't push it too much. Like really, it seems like they're really wanting to make sure that they've got themselves right and then are looking for the green flags in the relationship. So if you want to be a match to this person, it's probably a good idea to be doing the same. So I would say if you're attracted to this person though, it's very likely that you are kind of in the same boat where you're like really focusing on you, looking for the green flags, but like trying to do the two kind of together at a slow pace so that everything kind of unfolds just like steadily, but like having a really secure foundation, it seems. Yeah, let's see if the tarot can tell us anything else about, maybe more specifics about how this person is seeing the connection. We get some more specifics about how pile one's person is seeing the connection. Okay, this person is seeing this connection as having a lot of potential for it to be like really fun, playful, like romantic, connected, a lot of like pleasure, and like I just think they think it'll be very fun. We have two strong Leo energies here, so I feel like they're expecting it to kind of be a good time, like overall. There's definitely like a element of them seeing a lot of potential for like abundance, growth, and just like kind of maybe some inner child healing, being their best self kind of energy. There's definitely an energy of them not wanting to move things too quickly in this reading as well. You've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. He's a very fast moving energy, very passionate, energetic, but coming out in reverse, like I think they're just going to take their time and not let kind of this like maybe desire, passion energy like overrule their intuition and instincts too much, because there is like kind of these maybe more peripheral concerns that they're having, like more within themselves and just like the place that they're at as a person, that they're still working through. They just want to make sure that they have a lot of time and space to work through all their stuff. We have some moon in reverse energy, so this is stuff in the unconscious. They're probably not even grasping the full magnitude of the things that are going on for them, but kind of what is currently is being revealed to them from the unconscious is definitely this energy of maybe some not enoughness, and maybe a little bit too much self-criticism, and a little bit of lack mindset that's coming from the unconscious, that they're trying to kind of unpack and address. And in kind of a similar vein, there may be also some abandonment issues as well. The moon is a maternal energy as well, so maybe this is coming more from a maternal caregiver, because we've also got the Queen of Swords, which is a feminine energy. So we've got two kind of feminine clarifications on these kind of like main kind of struggle energies. But yeah, this Eight of Cups is very much a fear of abandonment kind of energy. It did come out upright, so sometimes this can be like being able to retreat when necessary, to take a step back and like either self-soothe or calm. But yeah, in reverse, like sometimes it can be stepping away prematurely or stepping away as a defense mechanism. So yeah, there's some things there I think that they're trying to unpack. They're trying to like find this balance of like not stepping back too quickly as a defense mechanism, and also that's probably got an underlying fear of abandonment underneath, and also knowing when they genuinely need a minute, when they need a breather, when they just need to take a bit of a time out and just like reset within themselves. The Queen of Swords is a big energy about like perceiving things clearly, really being aligned with truth, and really being able to see the duality of kind of life in general, but like especially the duality within a specific circumstance. So I would say they're definitely kind of realizing this duality within themselves of like wanting to retreat to defend themselves, and maybe try and stop themselves from getting attached, but also like genuinely they need to like have that sense of like autonomy, and feel like they're really standing on their own 2 feet as well. Yeah, I would say it feels like there's a bit of a maternal wound here in terms of not enoughness, which is maybe why this person's like got a bit of a critical side to them. They may have like just internalized some stuff from a more maternal energy about them kind of never being good enough, I would say. And so yeah, they're trying to unpack a lot of that probably in therapy. But yeah, this Sun card, this is a huge card of like abundance, fertility, family, like being your best and highest self. It's also a card of redemption, so maybe like these energies have come up especially with caretakers, but just like maybe in past connections as well, and they kind of like feel that this connection might offer that potential for redemption. Like I think they feel like they might be able to kind of rewrite the script in this connection, if the two of you can work together, communicate, and have like really solid like self-awareness practices, and like just be building personally, so that you can come to this connection like both really kind of like present, aware, and like ready to do the work together without kind of enabling each other or being controlling or anything like that. Like they're looking really for that equal partner. This 8 is a traditionally like a education or employment energy. So I really think they're trying to say more like employ what they're maybe learning in therapy, and maybe just like all this stuff that they're learning, they're wanting to apply it to their relationships. And this might also be why they're kind of moving steadily, because a lot of this territory is new for them and they're trying to like figure out how to apply all this stuff that they're learning and not just default to old patterns. This 8 of Pentacles is the Sun in Virgo, so we've had like a fair bit of Sun energy, so a fair bit of like highest self energy, and then we have also had a fair bit of Virgo energy, like just in that kind of capacity for criticism, and like needing things to be perfect. This card also really encourages us to put things in a very structured and ordered kind of routine, to curb like impulses and negative influences. So there's probably a good chance that they're like just putting a lot of energy into creating a better like day-to-day relational existence, and yeah, they're really trying to curve any of those old patterns that maybe they've accumulated from their childhood especially, but maybe past partners as well, that have them acting in a way that they're not proud of. Like they're looking for that highest self sun expression of themselves, and they don't want to be behaving in a way that doesn't align with that anymore. This strength card, this is more Leo energy, but this card more refers to the part of Leo that's a little bit more connected to your pride and your ego. So it's often very tied with the animal within, especially the animal that reacts to like stressful stimuli. So the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response is heavily tied with the strength card. And there's also a lot with this card to do with like inner child healing and yeah, essentially kind of getting to this sun place through inner child healing and like being able to regulate, especially regulate your nervous system, and just like learn better coping skills. So this Knight of Wands energy we've spoken about briefly, but yeah, I think this person might impulsively act from this fight, flight, freeze response place, and they might impulsively act from maybe a wounded inner child too, and maybe that's not had the best effect on past relationships. So that's why they're really interested in taking this kind of slow and steady and kind of dealing with things as it comes up in the most constructive way possible. So yeah, this person's working on a lot. They feel really woke. They feel really they feel like they're trying really, really hard. And yeah, I feel like their self-awareness seems pretty high. And yeah, I feel like good on them for like doing all this work. And like, if you're really attracted to them, I'm assuming that you're in a similar place of like doing a lot of this kind of work. On maybe more of a superficial level, it feels like this person feels like this connection is possibly a soul connection, partnership agreement, definitely some sort of soulmate, soul contract energy. They think that there's a lot of opportunity for happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, enjoying each other, and a lot of abundance. Like they feel like you might be their manifestation. I think they feel super grateful that they've been able to call you in. They're trying to keep a positive mindset and not get overwhelmed with all the stuff that they're trying to like balance at the same time. And like I think they're definitely trying to like enjoy everything while still like doing what they got to do, essentially. Do we have... Okay, so our final oracles have new beginnings, acceptance, and the unexpected. Like I think this relationship trajectory will take like a bit of an alternative path, and maybe like you'll get where you want to go in a way that you weren't really expecting, but I'm assuming it'll be better in the end. It'll feel more magical. It'll just you won't necessarily get there maybe based on your expectation or based on your history or like what's considered normal. It'll be some sort of like different experience, but I think you'll actually walk down a path where the two of you are able to love and accept each other a lot more, and where you're able to have like a clean slate, free from a lot of this kind of stuff from the past. Not necessarily because it's gone, but just because you're both in a place of being able to deal with it really maturely, kind of as a team, essentially. But yeah, it's pretty cute. I love that for you. I feel like, yeah, I'm glad it kind of ended on a bit of a like beautiful note, because yeah, this person's doing a lot of work and they deserve to have good things, and you deserve to have good things with them if you wish. Obviously you have free will, so you can do whatever you like. So I've got 3 affirmations for you. So we have divine energy flows through me. I'm a radiant being. I allow myself to let go and let the universe guide me. And I choose to think positively because I know that I am a manifestation of my thoughts. So yeah, I think like keep manifesting, keep allowing the universe to guide you. Make sure you're letting go of expectation especially, but just like really just following the flow of life and following the flow of this connection. And keep coming back to your own divine energy and your own inner radiance, and just like essentially like loving yourself through this whole process and everything that's being unpacked and everything that you're learning along the way. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for making it all the way through. It's been a pleasure reading for you. Until I see you again. Ciao. Hey there, part 2. Welcome to your reading for this connection from your crush's side. So if you chose this clear quartz, then this reading is probably for you, but just using your intuition and discernment along the way. We're going to start with some energy clarification. You can skip this if you're sure you're in the right place. But for anyone looking for like added confirmation, or yeah, anyone who just wants this energy clarification, let's do it. So you're looking for about half of these to resonate at least, to know you're in the right place. If it's closer to half, you probably have messages across 2 readings today, so making sure you're checking that you weren't drawn to an additional pile. And if you're resonating with pretty much everything and you just like feel that resonance in your full body, then you know that you're in the right place. I might just see if is there anything else? Yeah, I thought there was one more thing. Okay. So we have small nose. Innovative. Thin eyebrows. They might have kind of like a petiteness about them. Agreeable. Bookworm. They have hooded eyes. Independent. Charming. Seeker, so they're always looking for more. Intelligent. Eyes might be almond shaped. We have disagreeable. So we've had agreeable and disagreeable. I would say there would be some people here whose person is one and some people who their person is the other. But yeah, pretty much the same vibes in terms of like introverted little bookworm who's still very kind of charismatic, I would say would be the vibe. But let's get a reading for you guys for pile 2 for the connection from their perspective. So overall, I'm sensing that this person, there's just like a lot of draw towards you, especially with this life purpose North Node energy. It seems like they're really being drawn to you. They feel like there's some sort of purpose to your connection, something that you're supposed to do or be or learn together. There definitely feels like there's a fair bit of like kind of love feelings, like just, yeah, so much magnetism, so much love, so much like drawing towards you. I would say that there's some maybe more divine feminine activation with this Venus and Neptune energy coming out. Like Neptune's like kind of high octave Venus energy. Like Venus is more of an empress, mother, maternal, like kind of alive with like sexuality, sensuality, like kind of enjoying life's pleasures, whereas Neptune energy is like divine feminine in more of a high priestess way, like someone who's more into spiritual practice in a more structured form, maybe more of a like witchy moon goddess energy. So yeah, I would say that either if you feel like more of the divine feminine, like maybe they feel like they're supposed to activate that energy with you, within you, and if you resonate with more of the divine masculine, then they might feel their divine feminine energy activating within themselves, as because of you. There definitely feels like there's a spiritual soul contract energy here. Aquarius rules soul contracts, and Sagittarius rules like expansion and personal development. So there's definitely some sort of contract, there's some sort of something or other here. Like there's a very good chance this is like at least soulmate energy with all of these energies. That said, like karmics are often like soul contracted energies that we're supposed to experience too. But yeah, I'm just sensing this as maybe soulmate leaning. For some people this may be either twin flame or karmic. Like lunar eclipse energies can be a little bit more challenging than solar eclipse energies. So yeah, like either karmic or twin flame can be more of this lunar energy, where I would say a soulmate is more the solar eclipse energy. So yeah, there may be some stuff that's being challenged by one or both of you in this connection. I would say probably both, but lunar eclipses like is associated with like everything to do with the moon. So like maternal energies, unconscious energies, like intuition, but also like kind of fears and dangers and things like that. So it feels like there's kind of a lot going on in this connection. Like there seems like there's a lot of good, but then also there's like definitely some challenge under the surface too. Like one or both of you are feeling challenged in this connection for sure. But let's find out maybe what those challenges might be using our tarot. We'll get a little bit more specific. Can we find out more about especially this connection from pile 2's person's end, please? Okay, so it seems like this person is definitely in some inner conflict right now, and this might be manifesting in maybe some conflict between the two of you, or it may just be personal for them. This Two of Wands is heavy conflict energy. It's a Mars in Aries, so yeah, especially with this Emperor energy, which is an Aries energy, so we've got kind of like double Aries, like lots of divine masculine energies here. It seems like, yeah, this person's in some inner conflict. They're trying to resolve that conflict within themselves. I would say it's going reasonably well, just given that these 2 on Page of Wands came out upright. I would definitely say it's going well. But it's essentially forcing them to do a lot of self-reflection and just like figuring out a lot of stuff about themselves that maybe they weren't aware of when it comes to connections. It can be like conflict resolution. One of the main reasons why the 2 of Wands is considered like a progressive kind of discovery, kind of opening energy, is that through conflict we tend to learn a lot about ourselves. We learn a lot about our partner if it's manifesting as an external conflict, and it overcoming those conflicts, whether that's with the self or with someone else, definitely increases the feeling of closeness. So this person is probably like, yeah, just like getting to know themselves in a very real way, like based on everything that they're going through right now. I would say with this King of Pentacles and Emperor energy coming out in reverse, that it's very likely this person is more divine masculine, you're more the divine feminine, but feel free to flip it if it's the other way around. It seems like they're having some struggles with 2 aspects of their masculinity. The first being the King of Pentacles. This is the father energy of the tarot. It's someone who's very secure, stable, disciplined, grounded, like a good provider, and also like very like down to earth and loving. The King of Pentacles is an earth energy, so it's like got a very Capricorn-y connotation, because Capricorn is an earth sign and also kind of the father of the zodiac. So yeah, it seems like this person's maybe struggling with some of these. Some of the shadows of the King of Pentacles is someone who is very controlling, who may not be able to be a good leader or provider for their family in some way, especially financially, because the Pentacles has a lot to do with finances, but also like the Pentacles has a lot to do with lifestyle and also healing generational curses or traumas and not passing that on to their offspring, and not playing out toxic dynamics from their own childhood. The Emperor energy, it's very similar. I would say it's just like a more mature King of Pentacles energy with a little bit more fire, a little bit more capacity for leadership, a little bit more, it's like if you took the father and put him in the position of king, like the Emperor is like an up-leveled King of Pentacles in that he can lead like a whole kingdom, like not just his family, like he's a good leader of the whole kingdom. And the Emperor leads with a really strong like inner sense of power when it's upright. So upright, it's really kind of like leading by example, and then more being a leader through service of others, whereas in reverse it's more maybe leading through like controlling, or like not really being in service of others, like being more of a ruler than a like emperor, king, server of others kind of energy. So these two are very similar in that regard. Like I just don't think that they're standing strong in their own divine masculine at the moment with a lot of these things, probably leaning more towards like controlling and being like and maybe feeling out of control and just not in their internal power. It seems like something that they really need to work on right now is a balance between like being on their own, like doing their own thing, being like being in service of whatever their mission is, maybe in more of a career sense, and then also being like able to connect emotionally and in relationship. It seems like they might be over prioritizing maybe this King of Pentacles and Emperor energy in their career and not prioritizing it in their home and in their relationships. There may be like this fear that they're like better off alone, because they may get like overly hurt in connections, just like taking things too personally, and like maybe getting lost in story. The Five of Swords definitely indicates getting lost in story. It's like a person falling on their sword, like the situation didn't necessarily hurt them, but their own story about it did. So yeah, it seems like this person's finding relationships really challenging, and they're struggling to feel fulfilled in this energy too. There's something blocking them from feeling fulfilled in this energy, or there's some sort of illusion that they have that they can only feel fulfilled on their own, that they won't be able to feel fulfilled in connection. And this is probably the basis of this internal conflict they're going through, because it seems like there's like passion, desire, like a magnetism, wanting to be with you and kind of work it out essentially, but then there's also this kind of like equal fear essentially that's kind of making them feel like they've got to pull away. But I would say, just like based on these two energies coming out, it seems like they're like aware of this conflict and like trying to work through it. It seems like with this Page of Wands, this is like an exploration kind of energy, so it seems like they're really exploring a lot of these feelings and trying to unpack it. But the Page of Wands, like this exploration energy is not necessarily, it's not that it's immature, like it can be immature, but in this sense it doesn't feel like it's immature. It just feels like they know that they're not seeing the full picture yet. Like the King of Wands, he would like see the full picture and really understand like why everything is fitting together, and then like really being able to take that and create a vision of like the life they want to create. So the King of Wands will kind of equally understand the past and then equally have a vision for the future. The Page of Wands I don't think has a vision for the future. So yeah, I'd say they're still trying to like explore like this past, and they haven't got to the point where they feel empowered with this. They're still kind of lacking that personal power, and they're looking to trying to sort that out before they figure out what the vision is, essentially. Yeah, it seems like there's maybe a bit of fear of abandonment, and maybe fear that all of these like love emotions that are coming up for them are gonna derail them in some way, that are gonna they're gonna lose control essentially. I think like this person seems like a bit of a softie, like they just love really hard and they can get lost in relationships really easily. I would say one of their big problems is maybe not having great personal boundaries and healthy boundaries. This Eight of Wands energy is a Mercury in Sagittarius energy. Anytime these late Wands energy comes up, it usually refers to boundaries of some kind, because Sag is a real kind of master of the boundaries in a sense. This particular energy is like asking them to slow down, figure out what their truth is and what their kind of maybe fears or stories are, and like really trying to work with the truth rather than working with the fears and the stories, and allowing that kind of separation between the two to really prompt their healing, to like figure out what's in their heart and what's in their kind of fear responses, and like how to move forward with all of this, usually through establishing a boundaries, and then staying within the boundaries. Getting good at that though, that's more of a Nine of Wands energy. The 8 is like more starting to unpack it, and then the 9 is like actually starting to be able to put it into practice. So I'd say like they're still kind of figuring it out. This Queen of Swords is a big like perception, truth, like kind of illuminating deeper aspects of things. So yeah, I think they're still kind of like unpacking a lot of stuff and like understanding the depths of some of this stuff that's coming up for them. But yeah, I would say for them, they still don't have a strong boundaries practice. Like they're still unpacking a lot, and it kind of hasn't come to fruition in that way yet. But I would say that it will eventually. Hopefully these love oracles will further clarify that though. Okay, so right now there may be this kind of like disconnection in the connection that's kind of feels necessary for them. I think like they feel like they need that kind of like solitude, and maybe yeah, they're a little bit unsure of the future. They definitely feel this pull, definitely thinking about you. There's definitely lots of yearning there. But yeah, there's some unhealthy dynamics playing out. What I'm feeling that they want from you is to not adopt this chaser energy. They might be manifesting more runner energy right now, but I don't think that they necessarily want you to fall into this chaser energy. Like I think this connection might be going that way right now, just like based on all this stuff this person has going on. And I think essentially they know that getting into a runner-chaser dynamic with you is not going to serve either of you in the long term. It's not going to create the stability, security, endurance, flexibility, permanence, and growth in the connection that they want with you. And it's literally not a you issue, it's a them issue. They're just like figuring stuff out, and they don't want you to take it personal and make this about you when it's not. It's about them, and it's about the stuff that they're figuring out and they're trying to do while they still kind of feel safe in solitude. Yeah, and like let's try not to judge them for that, even though it might be hard. But yeah, I think like especially if they're like showing up really messed up, like it's different if they're kind of showing up well, communicating, taking responsibility for all this stuff, which there might be some people here that are, but I think a big chunk of the people, maybe their person's not doing any of that. So if their behavior is not showing up well for you, like taking that not personally and as a sign to like maybe step back, maybe give them some space, and like going to live your life and not putting your life on hold for this person. Yeah, so make sure that this person's stuff, you aren't taking that personally, but you're also not like, don't accept this behavior if it's not good either. You can always just like, especially if you like trust in the purpose of this connection, like it's fine to kind of leave it in the past for now. If that's what serves you. Yeah, making sure that you're acting from self-love right now is so important. I feel like that was pretty much the point of what I was trying to say. The cards just said it better. Yeah, I think really releasing any attachment to the way you expect things to kind of pan out with this connection will be really important. I think it's probably going to go down kind of a weird path. but just like let it go the way that it's supposed to go, and just like worry about keeping your internal balance. Don't let yourself get thrown out of balance by this person who's got their own stuff going on, and yeah, try not to get sucked into the darkness. Obviously, if there's stuff coming up to you from your darkness, like worry about that. And if you do have this chaser tendency, like that definitely is a possibility for you right now. Like if what's going on with this person is triggering you, like doing your own work, exploring all of that, figuring out what your boundaries are, and like starting to implement them will be really important. So like you're kind of not letting yourself get sucked into the void by taking their actions personally, but really responding to whatever's coming out of the void to be seen and healed in response to their behavior, like in terms of like your own personal development and growth, essentially. I hope that makes sense. But we'll give you a affirmation to end on. So we have, I allow myself to rest and I reap the benefits of my hard work. Yeah, like this might not be the time to like overdo it in terms of doing right now. It might be really a time for you to like rest, look after yourself, self-soothe, like whatever you need to do. Have a breather, take a time out, go on vacation, any of that. Like it's a really like a downtime for you, I would say. But I feel like I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think there's anything else really that needs to be added. Like you do you, stay within your own boundaries. Like, yeah, you got this. Look after yourself. Worry about that self-love before you worry about any kind of external love. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this here. That's all I really have to add. Thank you so much for watching if you made it all the way through, and until I see you again, ciao. Yeah, then pile 3, if you chose this beautiful blue highlight, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't. We're going to start off with energy clarifications today, just to make sure that you're in the right place, or to give you added confirmation if you know that you are. So taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't. You're looking for like at least half of these to resonate. If roughly half resonate, just double checking that you're not drawn to a second pile and making sure that you're have got all your messages for your reading. Sometimes you might find you're a mix of 2 different scenarios, and if most or all of them, so like 80 to 100% are resonating, then you know you're in the right place. But yeah, let's get started. What is pile 3's person like? Please, can we get energy clarification for pile 3's person, please? So fashionable, sensitive, really good storyteller, light brown hair, either dyed or naturally, assertive, also have dark brown hair, so if it's not light it might be dark, it might have been dark. May have fairly arched out eyebrows, or the arch may be a dominant feature on their face. Guide or prophet archetype, so this is someone who just like knows stuff and like says smart stuff. Jesus is like the original archetype. Nurturing, conscientious, grey eyes, like bluish grey, seductive, introvert, warrior, and straight hair. So hopefully by now you've either gone back to try another pile, or you're fairly certain you're in the right place. But yeah, let's get some cards for you, pile 3. We have cards to show the connection from pile 3's person's perspective, please. Okay, so it seems like this person's kind of going through it at the moment. They're like experiencing their own kind of personal revolution. The solar eclipse can indicate like evolutions into a higher version of your higher self, just like as a big like kind of upgrade energy, usually building on things that have kind of been slotting into place for some time. And then we also have Pluto, which is a very transformative energy. We have Saturn and the 10th house of the world. So this person might be kind of finding their feet in terms of like where they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to kind of show up. And maybe like they're working on like healthier lifestyles. We have Mercury energy, which rules the 6th house of routine and the 1st house. So this definitely gives maybe working on their health and fitness a lot. And this may also be working on their kind of communication and connection with others too, because Mercury also rules the 3rd house or rules Gemini. So yeah, they're probably like just like going through this big kind of upgrade. I would say it's kind of come from a place of maybe some challenge. Like upgrades that come from the solar eclipse and Grand Cross aren't necessarily upgrades that just kind of spontaneously bring themselves on. They're usually upgrades that happen as a result of kind of going through it, essentially. I would say that they've had to evolve more from a place of like kind of like getting stuck and being like, I can't keep living this way, especially with this 9th house energy, which has a lot to do with personal development. I think they felt maybe a bit backed into a corner, and they're starting to like personally uplift. There's not really any relational energies here, so I would say that this person's like maybe busy with their own stuff right now, and maybe relationships aren't the dominant thing on their mind right now. I think they're trying to like find their feet after all this stuff that they've just been through. So that essentially kind of like getting the sensation that they feel like they're in a like puddle of water, just like treading water, like as a little mouse, like just like, yeah, they're really trying to kind of save themselves at this point. Like they've just had a tough time, and they're trying to get back on their own feet before they worry about too much stuff, other stuff like relationships. But hopefully the tarot will give us a little bit more clarification. It's an interesting first card to come out. Whoops. Okay, so I'm getting from this person that they might be very charming and they might have a lot of people that are interested in them. This King of Wands, this is the big, charming kind of energy, and it can be very hard to kind of tie the King of Wands down, just like based on the pure magnitude of options that they have. I think this person might not be realizing that underneath all these options and like this kind of energy of like, I'm like doing me, can't really worry about relationships right now. Like, I think part of what they've recently been through is like, I think maybe a kind of fear of not enoughness was triggered. And so maybe they're like kind of hustling to find their worth. Like they're really hustling for their worth in life right now. And they're I would say they're kind of like letting this story of like, they have so many options, it's not the time to settle down, kind of keep them at a distance from relationships right now, from this place of not enoughness. We've got this Five of Pentacles, which, yeah, definitely is a not enough kind of energy. And this card really asks us to heal by taking action and counteracting, especially stagnation, anywhere where this person's like boxing themselves off. And it does seem like they're boxing themselves off from relationships right now. So yeah, the cards are saying that they need to heal by feeling like they are worthy of love and kind of like getting their vision for someone and pursuing it. It seems like they're maybe not doing that, like at least not wholeheartedly. Like maybe they're kind of holding back a bit for some people, and for others I think they're just like not even pursuing this connection at all, just like based on this kind of energy. I feel like they're definitely, I think there might be an attraction to you here, but I don't think at this point they're in a place to be able to like say, I want that, I'm going after that, and then like be persistent in the pursuit. Like I feel like there's not really that kind of like masculine pursuing energy here. I think they may be rationalizing it with this King of Swords energy. And yeah, I would say that there's definitely potential for maybe some story energy to be coming in here. But yeah, I think at this stage they don't even see how all of these things are like kind of interacting to produce their current circumstances. But yeah, it definitely feels like it's coming from a big place of lack. We also have the Four of Swords upside down, which the Four of Swords is a rest energy. So the fact that it came out upside down, it's like another I'm hustling for my worth energy and I'm not going to rest. Especially clarified by the Seven of Cups, which is an illusion energy. So yeah, they're kind of like in this illusion that their value is in how productive they are. And there may be like a little bit of like competition or envy or something. Like there may be someone that they're looking up to in their life that maybe isn't a good influence, that maybe they feel like they have to compete with. Or this could be just like an ideal that they feel like they have to compete with and uphold about themselves. Like maybe they're feeling like they need to be a player or just like not attached or something because of some stereotype that was kind of put on them, especially from their childhood. The Six of Cups is a very nostalgic card. It definitely pulls from childlike energies for sure. It does ask though that we learn from the past, let it go and move forward. And I would say just with this King of Swords and Six of Cups, the King of Swords coming out upright, like I think this is a really good sign that they do have the capacity to kind of realize what's going on and realize why they're not persisting, why they don't really have this vision of what they want and going after it, and why they're not, and where this kind of like not enoughness is coming from, and where they're like hustling for their worth, and where they're like feeling like envy and competition. They're definitely capable of realizing like why they're doing all that. This King of Swords to me is a very, I'm so glad it came up right way up in the middle of all these really challenging energies. Because yeah, it shows that they have the capacity to overcome this, and like figure some stuff out, move forward in a kind of more courageous way, and just like with the knowledge of like understanding themselves on deeper levels. But yeah, we might grab some love oracles to see where this connection is going, because yeah, it seems like they're like really in it right now. Like they're definitely not in a place where like this King of Swords energy hasn't come into fruition yet. Like they're still in a place where a lot of this stuff is very like present. So yeah, we'll see what this says. So we have mask, not showing their true feelings, hiding, pretending, and delusion/illusion. So we have conditioning, old outdated thinking, and then we have unconditional love, self-love, oneness, affection, attraction. So it does seem like these energies are definitely what they're in right now. There's a lot of like kind of masking and walls and stuff going on for them, and they're really operating from this outdated thinking. But yeah, this King of Swords energy is indicating that they're going to be able to overcome it. Something that might help them overcome it is, first of all, self-love. It's like really coming to a place of self-love will be so important, but potentially like I think this might be the kind of healing that maybe doesn't fully heal until they're in a relationship with someone, until they start to have experiences with another person that shows them that they are worthy of love, because self-love is great, but I think being loved by others alongside building that self-love is just so important. You kind of need those two energies working alongside together each other. So yeah, I would not be surprised if this connection kind of ends up kind of going ahead despite all this stuff that's going on with this person, and that they go through this process of like building their own self-love, but then also building their love for you, and then both of those energies kind of working together to help this person like break through a lot of this stuff, and kind of like grow and heal as a person. Yeah, it seems like this connection, there's a very good chance that it's going to come into fruition. But yeah, it seems like you're probably both in a bit of a dark place right now, and just some things are still kind of coming together. There still hasn't been this kind of like peak of realization, like they haven't come into this King of Swords energy yet. And it's hard to say whether this connection will need to come into fruition before they have that realization or after. I think it might be a mix of people here. I think for some people the realization may come first and then they may pursue you, or for others it might be the opposite. Like they might need to kind of have this realization after the two of you kind of start hooking up. But yeah, it definitely seems like this person is like has a lot going on, sorting through a lot of stuff, and they're like trying to find that personal power within themselves at this time. And that's fine. Can we get an affirmation, please? For pile 3. Okay, so we have my body, my mind, body and soul are filled with harmonious healing energy. Yeah, I feel like there's healing energy in you that's going to help heal them. Probably like vice versa as well. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential for healing in this connection, but just know that this person's in a bit of a rough place. So yeah, you'll probably have to be very connected to yourself as a person, connected to your own mind, body, and spirit, and just like really working with your own boundaries with like what's going on with this connection. So yeah, just like making sure that you prioritize your connection to yourself first, and then like really allowing that healing space in this connection, if you choose to pursue it, which is obviously your choice based on your free will. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Nothing else is kind of springing to mind. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. Until I see you again, thanks so much for watching, and ciao.